Welcome to Marinade Moments. I am your host, Jason Earle, and this is the show where I tell stories from a life well attended. I've been fortunate to take in a ton of cool events in my life, and this is the space where we bond over the beauty of live music. On this episode, I'm going to tell the tale of seeing Sturgill Simpson at Jackrabbits in Jacksonville, Florida on November 2nd, 2014. I'll start by reading a piece I wrote right after the show, and then add some context at the end. Y'all, this post first appeared on my old blog, Floridabout, and damn it, I miss blog culture. You can still find it out there if you really want to. Just don't judge some of the writing from late 20s, early 30s me. Marijuana, LSD, psilocybin, DMT, they all changed the way I see, but love's the only thing that ever saved my life. That's Sturgill Simpson and his wonderful song, Turtles All the Way Down the Line. That was going to be my hook for this post. Shit, it does the trick, right? But during the process of ensuring that I quoted Sturgill properly, I Googled the lyrics to the song. Spend a couple minutes with this. I've seen Jesus play with flames in a lake of fire that I was standing in. Met the devil in Seattle and spent 9 months inside the lion's den. Met Buddha yet another time, and he showed me a glowing light within. But I swear that God is there every time I glare in the eyes of my best friend. There's a gateway in our minds that leads somewhere out there far beyond this plane, where reptile aliens made of light cut you open and pull out all your pain. Those lyrics ain't exactly top 40 material, yet Sturgill Simpson humbly and graciously pointed out mid-set at Jackrabbits last month that two artists had more than one album on the Billboard charts at the time of that show, Sturgill and Taylor Swift. For juxtaposition's sake, because the player's going to play, and the hater's going to hate. Baby, I'm just going to shake. I shake it off. Taylor Swift. Such is the good and somewhat befuddling nature of American society. We are huge and diverse. We sell out Jackrabbits on a Sunday night for a guy who managed some semblance of mainstream success with lyrics like when reptile aliens made of light cut you open and pull out all your pain, while simultaneously making multimillionaires out of people like Kim Kardashian. To each their own, but meanwhile, Sturgill Simpson is our time and place's answer to Steve Earle or Waylon Jennings or any number of transcendental talents who make us think about country music in a different way, genre-bending badasses that completely reinvented tunes of a certain bent. He undeniably sounds a lot like Waylon, a fact that Sturgill begrudgingly acknowledged mid-set when he declared that Jacksonville would be witnessing the last time that he would cover Watasha, and then proceeded to melt our faces with an outstanding version of Waymore's Blues. Comparisons aside, Sturgill Simpson stands soundly on his own 2 feet. There are few singers or songwriters in roots music who can hold a candle to Waylon Jennings. So far in his rise to prominence, Sturgill Simpson belongs in that breath. He put on the kind of show that keeps a working man out beyond his bedtime and leaves him buzzing for days subsequent. We witnessed slam poetry for the intellectual Southern set that night, a beautiful moment that is unlikely to be recaptured due to the size of the venues that Sturgill now rightly commands. Here's to hoping that the tides of popular sentiment allow the Sturgill Simpsons of the world to keep pace with the starlets of pop. All right, y'all, that's what I wrote right about a couple months, I guess I say in the piece, after I saw that show. I almost didn't go to the show. My beloved Jacksonville Jaguars played the Cincinnati Bengals that day. I was a season ticket holder. I had a routine on those days. Since I knew I'd be drinking a few beers, I always got home right after the game, hydrated, had something to eat, wound down, and went to bed as early as possible. Super early, if necessary, depending on how I was feeling, because I'm a middle school teacher, and at that time I was teaching at a very high intensity school. We worked 11-hour days. We had a population of students who were from an underserved community in Jacksonville, some of the toughest neighborhoods in Jacksonville, which are some of the toughest neighborhoods in the country. So a football game will take it out of you. And I made sure to get to bed early on Sundays, especially after a game. But just as I was settling in for the night, I got a Facebook message from an old friend. That's how long ago this was, because I ain't had Facebook in a minute. And he had an extra ticket to see Sturgill at Jackrabbits. Now, if you haven't been to Jackrabbits, it's a tiny rock club. I got out of bed, dressed, and hustled over there on my bike. And Sturgill was, as I mentioned kind of in the piece, he was on the precipice of really popping. Meta-modern sounds in country music had taken the Americana world by storm, and the genre itself was getting its just due outside of a niche fan base, what I call the Southeastern effect. I don't think anyone would have predicted the arc of Sturgill's career going the way it did, an anime soundtrack, 2 bluegrass records, his rebirth as Johnny Blue Skies recently. But you knew something very special was happening. And I guess my main takeaway is one I don't listen to as much as I should these days. Always go to the show. If you enjoyed this Marinade moment, make sure you subscribe to the Marinade on your podcast app and follow us on social media. Check out our feature episode of the Marinade with Jason Earle on this same feed. Consider joining our Patreon community, y'all. This takes money and time, so if you can swing it, we'd really appreciate it. Patreon.com/Marinade Podcast, where you can gain access to Patreon exclusive content like our shows Jason's Journey and What We're Getting Down On for just $2 a month. Above all, thank y'all so much for listening and supporting the show. Until next time, go out and create something. Cheers, y'all.